Alright, back on to the last problem in this Tahoe. It's 0253. The toe switch common problem. There will be pretty much a guarantee on every single one of them that's going to happen before you go and buy a bunch of parts. It's a pretty easy fix. Take the dash apart. There's two. Get my tool here. It's two 7mm screws down at the bottom here. There'll be one on this one. It's next to the parking brake, and then there'll be one in this opposite corner, and then this whole panel just pulls out. Before you do that, you want to just yank your dash panel out. It pulls out pretty easy, just completely popped out. So, and then you do the two bolts, pull that panel out, and then on your steering wheel you got your lever for adjusting your steering wheel. You pull that out. This one again didn't have the bottom screws in it. A lot of them I guess don't. I haven't seen hardly any of them that have that. So then you pull that apart and you come over here. You got your shifter. This is your toe switch right here. So it's just a momentary switch is all it is. 95% of the problem is you're going to follow this wire right here. Okay, it's a single wire with the shifter. So if you want to buy the shifter, you get the single wire here. Goes through this little plastic piece here and comes down. When this shifter moves constantly, it's this way. Keeps moving like this. Right here where this plastic is, when the wire comes out, is where it likes to break. And as you'll see on this one, that's exactly what happened. So you get the wire that's coming through right through this plastic piece to right here, and this is where it breaks because it's constantly just moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth every single time you put it in gear, and it'll break right here. So all you really need to do, I would not use crimps at all. I'm going to use a solder, some shrink tube, and some wire, and just all you gotta do is strip this wire back. I would cut it like back in here, you know, so you're on the straight part that doesn't get affected by the movement. Cut it, solder it, cut it over here, solder it, put your jumper in, and that should be good for another anywhere from 150 to 200,000 miles. It does take a lot of time. So let me solder this one together and then I'll come back. Okay, with the single wire, well, it's not really single, there's just two in it. There's two inside of it. So for a really good fix, I would suggest soldering it without a doubt. So you're gonna have to figure out which one's which. Here they are right here. There's two wires there. And no, this is not a shield. There was two of these little wires coming out. They look exactly the same with this little white cover. So this one I pulled back because I want to separate them. Solder them together. Just using some speaker wire here works just fine. So what I'm doing here is I soldered them, put tape on one, and then I'm going to follow up to make sure it don't short with some shrink tube. So that's how I'm going to do this one. Can do it really with one hand. So that's what it is. There's two wires. So what I'll do is solder these two together with your jumper wire, put some tape on it, shrink to it, make sure they don't connect because it's a momentary switch. And then you need to find out over here before you make this one solid, put the key in, you know, and connect these two. Push your button, hopefully you get it right on the first time. Just think you got a 50-50 chance. So connect these wires temporarily together, figure out which one's going where. By turning your ignition on, hitting the switch, you'll have your towing light come on your dash. If it comes on and off, then you know you got the right wires connected, and then you can permanently do it. I'll come back when I get mine. Okay, mine's all complete. Soldered both. Tape one so they don't touch together because it's a momentary switch. So I just keep turning it on or off or whatever. But it's a little tape, divide them, shrink tube. Sits in here like that. Same thing up there. I got lucky. First try, had them right. Like I said, you got a 50-50 chance. And after you're done, you want to do the same thing. Turn ignition on. You're going to be looking at the top right corner. You're looking for that right there. Perfect. All good. Now let's put this thing all back together. It's no big deal. Start with the top of the column, the bottom. There's no real point in showing the video or showing it being done. It's not that, that's really nothing to it. But let me get it back together. All right, all said and done, put it back together. Don't forget, you gotta take your steering wheel and put it all the way down to get your bezel dash piece in. Everything just pops in. Do the bottom first because it sits on top. So just line it up, pop it in. 2 pops there. There's a little line up, little pegs. Slide it in, pop it in. Then you just tilt this down, put your ignition key, or put your key in ignition, turn it, take your shifter all the way down to first, so you can get this bezel part in, and it's cake. It slides right in, locks. No need to show it. If you take it apart, you'll see very, very, very simple. So that's the job. I guess I might want to just double check from here. Make sure it's functional. Everything is good. So we're good to go. 2002 Chevy Tahoe is all done.